Greetings, folks. This is Jonathan Edwards at Heartward Health. I wanted to talk a little bit in this video about one of the things that is a real strength of traditional medicine. By traditional, I mean the medicine that's been practiced for hundreds and thousands of years in places like East Asia and South Asia. And that is treating the person as opposed to the disease. Now, there are definitely times when the disease takes precedence, and most people with a given disease with certain diseases, most people may get a very similar treatment. But the more typical situation is that even 10 patients with the same Western disease category may receive 10 individualized treatments. So this is one of the things that makes researching Eastern medicine, traditional medicine, from the modern Western research paradigm difficult, because it's not easy to cram it into the box of a randomized controlled trial. But it's also one of the strengths of the medicine, because it means that everybody is being looked at individually, not just for their pathology, but for their system and what their system responds well to. So one of the ways that that works, and one of the things that makes that possible in practice, is a recognition of certain constitutional, you could call them constitutional types. In reality, nobody fits any given type to a T, right? They're just kind of rubrics that help to locate somebody on a map. And people may be in between categories and have different characteristics of the different types. But it's nevertheless a helpful framework, and it's a great starting point. So I just want to give an example. The medical tradition and lineage that I'm most aligned with, that most informs my own practice, is based on a 2,000-year-old Chinese text called the Shanghan Zabing Lun. It's a Han Dynasty text. And there are a number of very well established herbal formulas in that text, and it's been recognized in the centuries since that certain formulas match very well to not just certain diseases, but again, certain types of people. So the first formula in that book, Guizhitang, which is cinnamon twig decoction, it's a 5-herb formula, is used for a wide range of conditions, but most especially it's used for those conditions when they appear in people of a certain character, right? And that person has been described, kind of the archetype of that person has been described as the effeminate bookworm or the delicate bookworm, right? These are people who tend to be very thin, who tend to be very sensitive, sometimes to food, to environment, to noise. They're sensitive people. They often have an artistic temperament. They tend to be chilly easily, to be sensitive to wind, to get cold hands and feet. They are prone to more disorders of the nervous system. They easily may get anxious or have difficulty sleeping. Prone to digestive disorders, not usually the most robust people in terms of digestion. These are not your iron stomach types. They're not your red-faced type A executive types. They're not sluggish. They're quick. Their minds are quick, their bodies are often quick, and they have bursts of energy as opposed to sustained energy. So this is your classic cinnamon twig constitution. It corresponds to a pretty high degree to what the Ayurvedic system of medicine describes as a vata or wind predominant person. Ayurveda describes the wind person as having qualities of being light as opposed to heavy, and cold as opposed to hot, and dry as opposed to oily, mobile as opposed to stable, and so on. So you can see how that categorization aligns a bit with the Chinese view. And these people need the sort of therapies that you would expect, which include warming and nourishing and grounding and fortifying. And that's what the cinnamon twig decoction provides. It also strengthens the exterior of the body, because these people tend to have a bit leaky boundaries. That's both physically and energetically. They catch cold easily. They're kind of invaded easily by external influences. And cinnamon twig decoction increases the wei qi. It actually balances the wei qi at the surface so that the person has more integrity and more ability to kind of keep the outside world out in a healthy way, and let what's in a healthy way as well. So traditionally, that formula I mentioned treats the common cold in its early stages, which is understood as kind of wind and cold invading from the exterior. But it also treats a whole host of other things. And that family of formulas can treat such an incredible variety of situations when it presents in somebody who basically matches that type. It's a very close to home formula for me. Probably 50% or more of the people I treat, for whatever reason, fall under that category. I seem to attract those patients, and I've had a lot of success using cinnamon. I go through more pounds of cinnamon twig per month than any other herb. So anyway, that's just a little bit about a constitutional perspective on medicine, and hopefully it gives a little bit of a perspective on how East Asian medicine approaches the body and approaches illness, which is to say, including the constitution, including the person, and treating the person at least as much as the disease, although both are always taken into account. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you learned something or enjoyed this, it's helpful to the channel to give it a like as well. Again, Jonathan at Heartward Health. Have a great day.